of Srimad Andavan Arts and Science College has been conducting a 4-day international faculty enrichment program on new perspective on enhancing English language teaching skills. We are so grateful to have you all in the third day of this program. Welcoming a gathering is mandatory and traditional. Now, I call upon Ms. V. Amutavalli, Assistant Professor of English, to welcome the gathering. Please, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. We are in our third day of FBP. It's my privilege to deliver the welcome speech. First, I would like to welcome the members of the management, secretary, advisor, director, principal, vice principal, and dean of arts to this wonderful occasion. Welcome you all. Next, I would like to welcome our today's chief guest, Dr. A. Palaniappan, Professor and Head, Department of English, K.S. Rangasamy College of Technology, Tiruchengodu. Welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome our head of the department, Dr. S.S. Charanya, and faculty members of the Department of English. Welcome you all. Finally, I welcome the participants from various institutions to this 4-day international FEP. Once again, I welcome you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, let me invite a gentleman who is known for his charming smile. He is trying hard to make his discipline institute more disciplined. He is none other than our Vice Principal, Dr. M. Pichaimani. I request him to address the gathering. Please, sir.
Most respected resource person of today's program, respected Dean of Arts, respected head of the department and faculty colleagues of Department of English, and my dear participants, very good afternoon to one and all gathered here through the virtual platform for the 4-day international faculty enrichment program on new perspectives on enhancing English language teaching skills organized by the PG and Research Department of English. The main objective of this program is exploring new trends in the field of teaching, since teaching has become an academic challenge in nowadays. The teachers must equip themselves to compete with the technological advancements in the academic field. This program will also provide such a wonderful opportunity to you all to share your academic expertise and usage of the tools and techniques which are normally followed by the teachers in nowadays instead of the existing traditional way of teaching. I hope that this program will facilitate the same to the participants. At the juncture, I would like to congratulate the organizers for their good attempt. And I would like to thank the resource person, Dr. A. Palaniappan, Professor and Head, Department of English, KSR College of Technology, for his kind concern to take part in our program. Finally, I would like to convey my heartfelt wishes to all the participants for your active participation in our program. All the very best. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now I call upon Mr. R. Velmurugan, Assistant Professor of English, to introduce the resource person.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pride and privilege to introduce our chief guest, Dr. A. Palaniappan, Professor and Head of the Department of English. Dr. A. Palaniappan has been teaching English to engineering and MBA students for the past 22 years. He secured his undergraduation and post-graduation in English literature from St. Joseph's College, Trichy. He completed his MBA with marketing and HR as specialization at Periyar University in 2001. He also completed his MPhil at Madurai Kamaraj University and doctorate in linguistics at Bardiyar University. He received a silver medal for securing first rank in all 4 semesters of his post-graduation and received the same from the hands of the then scientific advisor and former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He also serves as a training coordinator in KSRCT for past 15 years. He is an in-house trainer on soft skills, HR interview tips, and resume building. Also, he has a flair in motivational speech and training on psychological enrichment. He had presented 15 papers in national conferences and 12 papers in international conferences. He had been resource person for 10 faculty development programs and presented 32 invited talks. He had served as the workshop coordinator for the technical communication workshop conducted by IIT Bombay for the engineering faculty. He has completed 16 NPTEL Swayam courses on different domains such as Java programming, Python, DBMS, NLP, German design thinking, Six Sigma, and so forth with the Silver Allied. He has been awarded with the NPTEL Enthusiast and Believer certification. During this COVID-19 lockdown period, he has organized 37 webinar sessions, acted as a resource person for 9 sessions, and attended more 60 sessions, including 6 AICTE ATL FTVs till date. He has also organized free visual outreach programs for 12th grade diploma students for an enriched learner engagement during the pandemic period by inviting resource persons across the world. His hobbies are story knitting, writing poems, origami. Currently, he is working as a professor and head Department of English, K.S. Rangasamy College of Technology, Tiruchengodu. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I invite Dr. A. Palaniappan to give his lecture on paradigm shift of teacher-learner approaches in the pandemic scenario. It's over to you, sir.
Thank you, MOC, for making this function a good flow, and I thank all the people who came before and saving the part in welcoming, and also thank Dr. M. Pichemani, Dean Dean and Vice Principal, for giving a wonderful welcome speech. And with this concern, let me just clarify with myself that is my voice audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I also do thank Mr. Velmurugan for introducing me in a right spirit and giving another motivation for me to proceed with my thing. Because I don't want to say it as MOC has been saying, it's a lecture, but it is something like an interaction. So we members of faculty, I am one among you. So in that case, we go with an interactive way of doing. And let us proceed with the thing, and let me share my PowerPoint, and then let me ascertain that PowerPoint is visible to you also. So is the PowerPoint visible to you? Kindly confirm with me so that I can proceed with that. So could you please see my PowerPoint on the screen share?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that. So this is what we have given the topic when I was asked about what you can speak on that by my friend Dr. L. Amuda Lakan. So she was asking me that can you take on such topic, because this topic came to my mind. So I just going to brief you on this topic. You have a lot of learning inputs, take home points from this slide. I am very certain that will be more helpful to you. And the topic is the paradigm shift of teacher-learner engagement, or we can also say it as teacher-learner approaches in COVID-19 scenario. As we know that it is a pandemic scenario, now it has become an epidemic. So in that case, whatever may be, but it is a scenario, it's a challenge for the teacher-learner engagement. So we go with this aspect of doing, and let me go with the next slide. Next slide shows you about the link which we're going to see about the perception and reality of this pandemic period. And let me also post it in your chat box. And I may say it takes few minutes on this because I want to make the mindset of all of us to go for the convergence of the thought. As the title of the slide is there, you can understand what I want to mean, because only thing is that when you go for taking into account that what I want to convey to you, please all of you, all the participants, okay, all the participants, just click. I have shared a link on the meeting chat or this chat box. You can click on the link and you can give the survey to me. So the prelude before going to the teacher-learner engagement, I presume that every one of you, at most of you can click it in the opinion poll on the mind of our convergence of thoughts on the perception and reality. So if you could do that, I'll give you a minute of time. Never takes more than that. Even if you are good in the mobile, you are watching this in the mobile also, you can do that. So I go for a Mentimeter approach, and with this we can easily find out what our thoughts are. Then I can explain to you the roadmap for what we think. I'll give a minute of time, please. So you might see on the screen what you type on that. We have so many words: isolation, we have pandemic, we have a sanitizer, we have e-learning, online classes, protect our environment, social distancing, knowledgeable, informative. All these words comes from a teacher's mind. As a pedagogue, we have these words coming to us because it has been an obsession. So this is about Mentimeter. I'm not asking about, I didn't type anything, but As a participant, every one of you have typed these things in the side. I'm very happy that everyone has been very, very active. And irrespective of the afternoon session, the post-lunch session, people will not be more active. Only teachers can be active, and that too nearing to the evening. Okay, so let us find that this is a very good thing. That's looking for opportunity. There are many words available, so you can be a witness that yourself that we have been doing. See the word that comes as a death. Okay, lockdown, death is one thing which we couldn't realize, or which we couldn't pardon, that we feel that this is something, a calamity, as soon as it comes for that. Okay, thank you for the sharing. And let me go with the slide there again. And let me go with the point that how we can be more perspective in understanding about the perception of reality. So the perception of reality is there, and I think I have shared the file to you. That's nice. Okay. Now, many of you I have given an inkling of what we have perceived, the reality, and this is the perception reality, the mind, our convergence of thoughts. So 16 months of academic isolation, and still it prolongs. Though we have seen the lockdown is being relaxed, part of the classes have been started, and we are on the verge of starting the classes in physical mode, and still we are not certain about that whether the pandemic has completed, has ended, has culminated. So we have lack of physical activity. So because of this lockdown, academic isolation, we have lack of physical activity, threatening statistical illness syndrome. You can see the news bulletins. It comes around numbers 3-digit or 4-digit, and seeing every day this escalating. And we find that statistics shows that whether we can escape from this, what we say about the strangulation of this pandemic. And we were craving for holidays, but now it is not like that. We are bored of holidays, both the students as well as the teachers, and eager to join in the academic process. We want to have a physical class. We have to use a green board or a blackboard, and we have to teach people. They have to ask doubt. We are more cornered about having interaction with students, and the future is uncertain again. So the future is again uncertain, and we are not knowing about what will happen in the future. Adaptation to safety measures out of fear. We adapt to safety measures. We wear masks. We have packet sanitizers and whatnot. Social distancing, and we become strangers to even our own household people. Okay, we want our own family members. We stay along. Challenges in coping with technology and learning management systems. So those people who have been very much used about teaching in a traditional way, without using the technology, now it becomes online classes. The platforms, the learning management systems are really challenging. So we are coping up. Few of us have come out, and still we have to be very adept in using these learning management systems. So inability to knock down the lockdown. So lockdown, it is there, but few issues are there, but still people say that you have to be very careful and more sensible and take right decisions how to move yourself in the public places. Because of lack of physical activity, obesity goes and health worries comes inside. And whenever we wake up in the morning, we see that I could smell something, I could taste something. Am I free from COVID? All this. We are bogged down in attending multiple webinars. So how to engage ourselves? We bogged down. We just engage ourselves in multiple webinars and virtual conferences at the same time. Attending flux of mobile calls. The WhatsApp becomes most used, and we always interact with people in mobile calls and online communication. Too much preoccupation in social media. So social media gives a lot of information to us. At the same time, it also misguides us. Particularly when you see a YouTube, how to overcome COVID, how to protect yourself from COVID, what are the reasons for COVID, all these things we see in YouTube, and we are more confused at times. A lack of financial backup, very important. The teachers, people going for occupations, and fund generation is again another field of thing to be get into our mind, that how to get it right. And risk of blurred vision because of too much preoccupation on tabs and mobiles and laptops. We just spoil our eye power or something like that, and the health is also spoiled. We have risk of blurred vision. So these are the changes ahead. So perception realities are same, but we have to understand that how to change, how to come ahead. So now we go to the new normal. Now people say already been 6 months before, people have said that COVID-19 situation is being changed as to become a new normal. We can't go to the back normal, but we can go to the new normal. Again, I am going to share the opinion poll of you viewers that may give an idea that what do you understand by the word new normal. Any words you can type it, that will be easy. The link will be shared to you again in the chat box, and you can take care of that also. So I'm sharing the link. Again, it's opinion poll, and take time in 30 seconds of time so that we can go with teacher learner approaches. So take a minute of time there. So this is about the Multimeter opinion poll of yours. Accepting reality, immunizing ourselves, not neglecting health, very good. Isolating ourselves, that is social distancing. E-learning, freedom, online teaching, interaction. Okay, 24/7 busy. So it all traveling, new normal, work from home. Very important that most of the IT companies now they are using work from home, and there are many people who are competing to go to IT jobs because of this safe working occupation and savings for the future. Yes, that's nice. So knowledge easy, simple, sleep schedule. Yeah, very good. Accepting reality. Excellent. No student interaction. This is a grave concern for us. And class using technology. So new normal, you have given certain things. I think you are visualizing. Let me go with the slide again, and we'll just have a look over what a common understanding will give us with a place of doing. Yeah. Now you can see on the screen, new normal. So first thing, what the new normal has given us is that value time, spending value time with our family members. You can see that people who are working in IT companies, you can see that they never come to the native place, native villages. Now work from home has given us time for them to have a value time with the family members. Relishing the homemade food by most of us, where we have been having the taste, mouth-watering street foods or fast food. Now we are relishing the homemade food for the sake of health. The digital technology or digital teaching learning process has become a custom order of the day. Virtual classrooms and teachers are there without any physical contact. Rooms for know-how online gadgets and platforms. So we are procuring the laptops, or we are having a new mobile phones. So in a home where there are 4 members, there will be 4 units of mobiles. Room for self-learning and knowledge reinforcement. The people are doing courses in Udemy, Coursera, and several LMS edutech technology. Diversifying skills in other pastimes. So people started doing other pastimes for earning money. People are putting their videos on the YouTube and TikTok videos and other things. No? They go for some businesses, some entrepreneurship to make their future that is certain with the money. Then natural environmental curing, very important. There is a natural environmental curing happened because of lack of pollution due to lockdown. Work or learn from home, very important factor, as many of you have said. Entrepreneurial opportunities for learning management system software. So many companies are mushrooming in coming out with educational technology. We say it as learning management system. With their application asking students to join and coach them up in different skills. A burgeoning online shopping and marketing. You see that when we are being neglected to go out, we go for online shopping and marketing, even the food also in Zomato or other things also. So there are a lot of employment opportunities who are doing online shopping and marketing. Chances to learn and adapt with online tools and strategies. People who, as English teachers, we are, or maybe teachers from other domain, we are less used to the online tools and strategies, but this new normal has given us chances, opportunities to learn and adapt with the online tools and strategies. So that's what a person stands with the mask down. That's a new normal. We never wear the mask in full. We just keep that below our chin and we stand like the person on the screen. Normalize changing your opinion when presented with new information. So these are the new normal. Okay. Now let me go to the next slide. We have a reflection spot. Reflection spot is, does the pandemic and the new normal prevent you to proceed in the teaching learning process? Does it forbid you? Does it impinge you? Or does it become an obstacle for your teaching learning process? Yes or no? You can type in the meeting chat, yes or no. Whether you accept it or it doesn't have any concern for me, I have used my online method or platform, my teaching is better or at least equal to what we do in the physical mode. So whatever may be, you are undeterred by the pandemic or new normal. It doesn't prevent you. You are proceeding as usual. If it feels you feel like that, then say yes. If you don't feel that is not so the case, then you put as no. You can type in the meeting chat. Let me see it that how many of you can do it no. That's a very good answer. So there's 1 yes, then it comes no. Yeah, I could see a couple of answers. It should be a flux of answers coming inside so that we can reduce the time and we can concentrate on the concepts in the further slides. The real core, the core of what we're going to see on the topic will be seen hereafter. Okay, yeah. So it is not having any, it is not preventing us. Thank you for that good concern of people that you have been very nicely been coming out. Thank you for that. Ms. Gomadi BS also giving no. Thank you. Thank you for that concern. And you are optimistic. Now I could see that you are an optimistic. Why I have seen, you can see a picture, a GIF image, a lady just thinking over and saying the answer. And we have a reflection spot, the term is used. I'll come to this point of this moment to you. Please remember this moment because in the further proceeding of the slide, you can find the reflection spot becomes an important factor in understanding teacher-learner engagement. Okay. Now we have to see the art of communication. See about the pictures, how they work from home or how they delegate the duty, the occupational duties from home. Playing with the children and at the same time they have to type in the answers. The boy and the father is learning at the same time, doing the occupation. So art of communication is a method. It's a way. When you want to change a way, you have to change it. Okay. So you should not go in a single way. A single method should be used. You have to find out a method that it may be conducive for the communicating, and it is an art. the nuances. You have to understand the little bit differences, the trivial differences that is lying there. And when you come upon understanding the nuances, then you are perfecting the art of communication. And we have paradigm shift to less utilized to or unutilized side, because we never use technology in the 3 years before. We never went for online teaching. Okay, we see that it is something not to, it's our own cup of tea. It was something else which we are not fitted to that. But now we can feel that it's like a cakewalk. I can do it. It is not utilized, but I'm utilizing now. It is not unutilized style. It is been common purpose of using my delegation of the professional lecturing or professional way of doing or academic way of doing. Then curing and accustoming oneself to the new method. So we have to find ways and make ourselves adaptable. Adaptability is very important thing in new normal. So you have to adapt to the new situations by using the less utilized style or technology, and find a new method in delegating a duty. Then agility, the fastness in the adaptation process, very important. A person, we can't say that he's tech savvy. A computer science faculty member may be a tech savvy. We can't say a member who is not who may be from humanities, maybe from MBA, or maybe even saying about from the English fraternity. We can say that they are not having that knowledge on technology. It is only thing is that we have to have a broad mind, accepting that I can also do this. I can also perform as adept or as equal as able as CS in the sense computer science faculty. So in that case, everybody is one. As a human being, we have to get the practice. We have to accustom ourselves and the fastness in the adaptation process. Now we have the art of communication, a pedagogue of people perspective, triple P. So pedagogue, teacher, people, student perspective. For sake of stating that 3 Ps, I just changed the name. It's another than that objective. So I don't have any motive behind using this pedagogue or pupil. I use this only to give the acronym that has a triple P. Okay. When you see about the students, you can see the picture. They say about grades. You might have seen about the current students who have cleared the 10th and 12th standard. They are worried about the grades. The depression was there, the schoolwork, student loan, peer pressure, assignment, exam, bullying, self-esteem, relationship, tuition fee again. So there are schools who are conducting online classes, and they are levying tuition fee in the private institutions. The hard fact is that online imparting, learning of lessons becomes inevitable. It's unavoidable. You have to go for online classes. Challenges in using online assessment tools like MPTL. It's an clear example, and we have to go for online assessment tools, which we provide. We make use of these platforms, Google Meet or Cisco WebEx or Microsoft Teams, okay, or Zoom. Sometimes we effectively to conduct online assessment tools. Too much reliance on online resources and PDFs. So the PDF files and online videos we just share with our students or teachers or with my colleagues becomes we are much relying on that rather than teacher speaking physically face to face in front of the student. Compulsion in investing on virtual software and devices. Okay? Every college has its own tradition of following whether to go for Google Meet or Zoom or some devices or tool softwares. And due to expose of to the mobile and other electronic gadgets, we have risk of radiations and health anxiety. Because of that, we have health anxiety. We couldn't get a good sleep in the night when we sit for 6 hours teaching online or learning from online. A chance for data purloining in cloud storage. You might remember that 6 months before, or a year before, there was information spreading along. It may be a rumor or it may be true. And people are using Zoom. It's a US-based learning platform. And because of using that, the US government is just stealing all our data. And that was a real, what we say, the anxiety being among the academicians. But now it is not so like that. Okay. Lack of live group and collaborative learning. There's no collaborative learning appears because in the classroom, a student can sit in a group and they can learn, but it is not going to happen. Again, the staff room, the faculty room, we sit together, and in the lunch, post-lunch session or during the lunch, we just share our ideas and how to proceed along. That's not happening now, as usual, as it was happening the previously. It takes in some point of time. Lack of effectiveness in the learner engagement. So we agree that the learner engagement is not happening at all as it was being or as it was being expected. That's the reason why I have given you the idea that the learner engagement is in different color. Okay, so this is the core issue which we're going to see today in a couple of minutes. For a couple of minutes, we are going to ascertain how to make the learner engaged. So our next slide will show that. Okay, the art of communication comes in the learner engagement. We have a learner-centric method in online way of doing. We have to go for an orchestration. You know, an orchestra has a guitar player, he may be a drums player, he may be a keyboard player, a singer may be there, a composer may be there, and all these people, all the mix of all the instruments in the music, it becomes a good orchestration, which be a systematic one, a proper coordination, then it becomes a good effective method. So the learner-centric method here, we have an orchestration, which means a planning or coordination of teaching learning in a situation to produce a desired effect methodically. Methodically means systematically. You should have some system, some logic. So now we have four orchestration methods. We say it as learning dialogue, as you see in the picture, learning dialogue, okay? And learning by doing, here, learning by doing, LBD, learning extension trajectories, LXT, we say it as LXT, and we have learning experience interaction, LXI, okay? These acronyms or abbreviations are used only for the sake of understanding. It doesn't have any scientific validity, and for mere sake of understanding, I've used these acronyms, abbreviations for understanding. So LED, we never say it as LED, it is LED, learning dialogue, learning by doing, learning extension trajectories, and learner experience interaction. All these four things, when we have a good orchestration using systematically or methodically, then the learner-centric method will be more effective. As a teachers, we have to understand this. And actually, some of us are doing actually in a different format, but we are not meeting the goal, but we are actually using this. The terms may be different, but we are actually using in our classroom activities, whether it may be online or it may be offline. Now coming to the learning dialogue. A learning dialogue, what we do in a classroom is that we give a content, see the slide, the picture there on the left right side or left side of the screen, you can find the content. We just give the content or a definition or explanation on a lecture on a topic. Then we have a reflection spot. We never complete at a stretch. In between, we stop there in an opportune moment, in a moment where we want to take record or find the traces of understanding among the students. We go for a reflection spot. And then we continue with ascertaining that they have understood, then we proceed with the content. So it's like a sandwich method. Sandwich. We have a top layer of bread, and between we have the core stuff, and down we have another layer of bread. So the content is that it may be a short video, illustrations, sometimes with examples, lecture on a topic, texts or animation. Everything you can do, these things you can do in a PPT. Okay. The best method, people say that don't use PDF files, better use PPT, PowerPoint. And short video can be embedded in a PowerPoint also. Everything can be embedded. Animations or text may be embedded. The content can be explained like in a lecture method or maybe briefed by the members of faculty. And we have to go, we should not complete all of a sudden the topic. We have to give some illustration, some explanation on the topic. Then we have to go to the reflection spot. So what is the reflection spot? As I said, the pandemic, I asked you to don't forget about that screen where a lady just keeping a finger on her lips and just seeing she's in the thinking mode. Okay, reflection spot is that making sure, make the learners to pause, ask them recollect or reflect on the preceding content, express their thinking. There's a micro practice, very important. We do actually in the classroom, we ask students that, do you understand what I say? It becomes very customary that people will say, all the students will say yes. We ask them, do you have any doubt? People always say that no. We have trained the students from the kindergarten, from the school days, when to say no, when to say yes. So actually that's not the case as of learner dialogue is concerned. You have to go with the reflection spot, make the learner to pause, ask them to recollect or reflect on the preceding content, and ask them to express their thinking. You ask some few questions. Don't ask them pinpointedly, just ask for voluntarily, because I asked in a Multimeter opinion poll, I never asked everybody to go for that. Okay. Few people came and they type in the content, text in the content, and we could find that they are matching with our thinking process. And later we can continue the topic. So content again, summarize the expected answers. Definitely we have to give the feedback to the students. It's called paraphrasing. It's not feedback on the student, but feedback on the question asked. Summarize the expected answers and proceed further. Very important. So this will be the learning dialogue. You are engaging the students to come to a dialogue. Several reflection spots, not there. If I'm handling a class for an hour, I should not have a reflection spot for a single moment. For 10 minutes, I can use a content. That 11th minute, I can go for a reflection spot. The 13th minute, I can go for proceeding with the next content part. Okay, I have to divide my lecture into parts, and each part should have a reflection spot embedded in that. So the reflection spot is nothing but asking the students to recollect and reflect about what they've been thinking and how they've been understanding. If they have a wrong understanding, then we have to clarify. We have to summarize the expected answers and then proceed further. So don't forget, the first thing strategy is about learner engagement is that learning dialogue, LED. Okay, LED is the thing that. Then we go next slide is that we have learning dialogue. Dynamics of LED is that the content facilitates learner engagement. Once you go in the reflection spot, it engages the learner to communicate to you back. It is not a customary answer of yes or no. It should be a wordy answer like an opinion poll. It may be a survey, or it may be a reflection or recollection of ideas. They have to come with that. And every one of the learners should be given opportunity to reflect. Not the first benchers, not the first layer of students of 6% or 10%. All the 100% of students should be engaged, so that learners are connected to the content. Very important. So now you can find the picture is self-explanatory. The student engagement is done from the relationship of a student-teacher. A teacher should be competent with the content. Very important. If I'm not so competent, I don't have a first-hand knowledge about the content, what I'm going to teach, the student will get bored. You will not have a good idea about the teacher, about the content. So the competence is very important. It's a three-edged way where the relationship of a student is also very important. The teacher should not be more caustic in his approach, making complaining about the student alone. There may be chances happening. You have to understand the student's mind and their psyche, and that's where the relationship comes in. And the content should be relevant, very important. You should not give an outdated content to the student. It should be a current and relevant content so that the student can understand easily. Very important. So this is what the picture shows about LED. Okay, LED learning dialogue, the first strategy. Next, we go for learning by doing. Learning by doing is a formative assessment activity. It's a formative assessment of activity. Attainment of concept understanding. You go for asking a quiz at the end of any lectures in online class. What we do is that we go for giving them instructions and ask them to appear for a quiz. Yes, a 3-minute quiz or something like that, like a Google form, instant application of accrued knowledge. So what they understood. So this, if you employ an online assessment tool like Google form, you can review it at leisure time, not immediately. So we have instant application of accrued, gained knowledge, and you have to find how to integrate the knowledge. Different people may give you different points of view, and you should know how to integrate that and the knowledge transfer. We say it as a KT. Knowledge transfer should happen between the students, between the teachers and the students also. So the formative assessment cycle, you can see in the picture: examine student work, inform teacher knowledge, inform instruction, and administer tasks. It should be a cyclic way. You have to administer tasks in the form of Google form, maybe anything, maybe. So we can come across that. Now, learning by doing formats, we have multiple choice. We say it as MCQs. In some aspects, we have MSQs. MSQ is nothing but multi-select questions. So where we can go for 2 options, 3 options out of given options. Short fill-ups, practice problems, texting long answers. So all these things can be done in Google Forms. It is applicable in Google Forms. We have tools there. What other tools can be used for asking such a simple quiz or long answers? We have forms. We have polls available, as I was using in the Multimeter. Is a free application available in the Google. We have assignments. Ask them to write assignments and submit in the meeting chat, upload it. We have chat boxes. I am using chat boxes for reflection spot. We have question answer forum also. Okay. These things you can find in the net. If you find the word called page application called Quora, okay, you ask in the Quora forum, you can ask what are the questions you want to ask. There are people coming inside and they'll give you clarify all your doubts. We have this thing is called Quora of that. Okay, so learning by doing. So first thing is about learning dialogue, LED, and learning by doing is the second strategy.
Turn off the lights and fans.
And learning by doing, task teacher creates activities. So every teacher should be a creator of activities. So I made my own colleague and I may be teaching the same subject or the course, but my delivery of point will be different from that of my friend. I should adopt to an activity. I have to create the activity. I should be the doctor of my activity. I should be the head of the person to create my activity. Of course, you have to get permission from your higher-ups. That's another thing. Learners in a group perform the activities in the customized formats. They do in the customized formats. Teachers secures the customized constructive feedback on the engagement. If you see any webinar happening, people ask you for a feedback. Feedback is just to understand how far it is more informative, and it may give us good lead for the organizer to organize such a function in future in an effective way. So activities, you can see the picture, people think differently, and with constructive feedback, you can recreate, you can you can reform the activities again. And you have to note that each LED can have many LEDs. So in learning dialogue, you can teach the content and ask a reflection part, then proceed with the learning content. Then you can have umpteen number of learning by doing activities, and that may be tools or tasks may be assigned. Customized feedback should be interested for each LED. So the feedback should be customized, personalized. A teacher can borrow the forms. He can go over the layout, but the questions and the options and the responses, everything can be customized. So learning by doing is another thing. So coming to next thing is about learning extension trajectories. So you are going to extend not only learning in the classroom or online classes, you are extending the trajectory. Trajectory, you can see when a rocket being launched, it goes on a cyclic way of just like a curve, just descending from the earth, from the site, it is being thrown out to the space. It forms a trajectory. Okay, when a jet goes on the sky, you can find the trajectory. When you have a rocket cracker, if you lit the wick of that rocket cracker, it goes on a trajectory path. The path is called trajectory. So you have to give an out-of-box thinking of extending the mind of the students. So LXT has a syntax. You have to give resources for web links, documents, videos, podcasts, blogs, and so on. So by providing the students and as well as you are adapting yourself with all the resources available online, it may be web links, documents, videos, podcasts, blogs, or YouTube links. That's what we say it as web links. And there are many things available. Then we have to conduct an assimilation quiz to know the learner widened conceptual learning. By using this, when you go for a quiz, different people, different student will give different answers, and you get a good body of constructive and learning concepts with you, which may be also useful for the teacher to incorporate for his future lessons. Very important. Teacher is not an authority of teaching alone. He is also a learner, which we accept it. Every year, if I am a 15 years having experience, every year, every session I'm teaching students, I learn a lot of things from them, a lot of inputs. Okay, we are not perfect. We have to understand that aspect, but we know something better than the young ones, the blossoming students. So in that case, we have to understand that these resources can be utilized, properly done, some research to be done, and later we have to use it. So teachers can also use these resources, their searches, their assimilation quizzes for their publication of papers to the journals. Can be used that. And LXT is as utility. It increases the depth and breadth of learners' knowledge. Really, it is not just focusing on them only the learning the concept, the content. It gives them to increase their horizon of learning knowledge. It caters to the diverse learners in accordance with their levels. You can cater because on student I can give a video, I can give another set of students, I can give a web link based on their quality of whether it's a fast learner or he is a learner at his own pace. I can just accelerate them to learn fast. We have worked with the diverse learning students. Short activities helps the teacher to assimilate the learner's performance. So if you go for assimilation cues for 10 minutes like that, you will have a good understanding and you can have a good review of the student's performance, and you can pretend yourself that how I can teach for those students, how I can handle for them. If I go for 2 classes, one class is having good input of students, I can go for different assimilation quiz. And for next batch, I can have a different view of assimilation quiz in an easy way. The level may be, the level of difficulty may be varying from batch to batch or student to student. That we call it as learning extension of trajectories. Now, 4th one is learning experience interactions. It's very important part, any part of thing. We never use this one in our lifetime at all. If at all you are using, I'm very happy. LXI syntax is that focus questions. Content presented to motivate the learners in involving them in discussions. How to have a discussion. We don't have a discussion happening in online. How we can make it? We can recreate it. We can make it also. It ensures that the learners can read, post, and interact virtually. So the better thing is that we should have a discussion threads. Discussion thread, I can say in a simple way that when people are using WhatsApp group, in a WhatsApp group, when you type something, the other person tags and say that it's very good information. Other person tags the other thing also and says that appreciation for your good points, for the supportive nature. So all these is called as a discussion thread. From one information, we are tagging to the next information. And from that particular information, we are tagging to, it proceeds like a chain reaction. See how it has been, the picture is giving, network is formed. It regulates and drives the interaction around the focus question. We create as a pointers or explanation or open-ended points in the forum thread. And the reflection question is that the learner's engagement in the discussion threads is very important. It ensures that reflection quiz is important. See, when we have people like this networking in Facebook, or we have social media, we have LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, we can find these people are following with the discussion threads. And in WhatsApp, we also do that. But we have certain platforms available in online where you can regulate and you can find yourself that you can go for interaction. And even by mailing somebody, a person can give that for that what we say it as carbon copy mails or contacts, and there follows interaction without forwarding. We just give a reply for everything, reply to everybody. If you click that option, and everybody goes for interacting with each other. So this is about learning experience interactions, which we are not covering in our class hours, which we are not covering in our podcasts or in our blogs. These things can be covered in with the students in the discussion threads. Discussion threads are very, very important. If at all you go for any education technology, learning softwares or applications, you know that discussion threads helps a lot. And it's like a self-learning. You are engaging the learners profitably. Okay. Now we go with next slide. So the orchestration is that art of communication in the new normal, is that you have to find all these four parts. In doing that, LED, learning dialogue, you have to support that with the learning by doing with small tasks. After learning by doing, you can go with the learning extension trajectories with web links, blogs, and other things. And then we go for discussion threads in learning interactions. Okay, this should have a proper orchestration, proper arrangement, proper mix. Only then you can go for clear understanding of the things. Now, the next slide, I have given a link also there. If you could click on the screen, you can click it, or I can post it on to your chat box. That's for an understanding about, it shows about your nature of understanding about this session 2. So with this, I think take time of 1 or 2 minutes, can't bother. Again, it's like a group of words, you're going to type it. Let me see that if you can find it out. Okay, so take time in finding in the meeting chat. I have given a link for you, again the Multimeter opinion poll, and please see that, click it, and have time in giving your opinion about what happens in this feedback. Okay, before that, people can do that. I have come to a purpose of completing the entire thing. Let me recap again. The orchestration should be done by, and the 4 strategies: learning dialogue, learning by doing, learning extraction trajectories, and learning interactions. Okay, so I thank that comes to an end, and I invite people to go if there is any doubt or any interactions, any supplementations. I can't say that I am an authority of this, and I am a learner too. And in that case, if anybody wanted to interact, if you can interact with me. If you want to clarify it, you can clarify with me. If at all you want to supplement, whichever you want to supplement, also it is most welcome. And I just pass it to the MC for further thing. Thank you all. So to the organizer for further thing.
Participants, if you have any questions, you can ask.
You can post your question in chat box.
So there is, please, if people want to ask, you can go for a hand raise option. You can raise your hand, and so that we will have a certainty that who is asking question, then we can go with that. Also, you can type in the meeting chat too. If at all you want to ask any question, without using, we may have in a noisy place also. So if you don't want to distract others, you can also type your queries, questions for discussion in the meeting chat.
Now,
And that can be
Joshi
taken.
Sudha has raised her hand. Joshi, you can talk now. Sir, can you see the question?
There's a question there. Are these modes applicable during the period of blended mode of teaching, sir? Yeah, definitely. In a blended, it is an actual mode of blending because we are asking the students beforehand. You can ask them to come by finding resources and web links or videos or podcasts before the class. Ask them come prepared. Then you can go for a discussion, and you can have a reflection spot inside. So that becomes a blended mode even. Okay, not necessary that you have to give these videos or web links or other things. No, as I said, the internet resources cannot be given after the class. Even before the class, if you give the topic tomorrow, we get to discuss on this. So why can't you see all these links and come back? And again, that goes for a blended mode of teaching. So I think I have cleared Anbalagan sir's query. Thank you for asking that. Very nice of you. So the link what I have given on the meeting chat, I think none of you have given answers, I think. So what was your take-home value propositions of this session? That was the question asked. And anybody who want to type it in a few answers there, you can type it there. So none of you have given the answers there.
Sir, there's a question from another participant.
Next question is there, I think. Thank you for that. Yeah. So what are the challenges in teaching to the rural students? Very good answer, because we could find the students are not having enough bandwidth. Bandwidth is a real cause of concern. And that's the reason why the state government has given free SIM cards with the data backup to the students in the government schools. And if you see that most of the students studying in government school are from rural background, and these 2 GB of bandwidth is not enough for the entire day. So that is a big concern, and students have to use it very what we said about very intelligibly, because reason is that they should not go with the playing video games or something like that, spending the time in WhatsApp or social media. That will give a good idea. Okay, so that reason a student has to take on his own, but we can't give that because bandwidth becomes a problem for everyone. So there is one question: what is the biggest hurdle while communicating online to students? Biggest hurdle is that when the students are coming online, they are losing that video. When they have to come on a video, they lack in that bandwidth. So people never come in videos. What they do is that actually the biggest hurdle is that cheating. Cheating happens in learning process. A student can log in, he can go somewhere, and we can't interact with them very freely. If there are 60 students, I can interact with 20, 25 students, or 31 even, but remaining students are not taken to consider. So the cheating happens there. Okay. We could see in the past 1 year, I could see that there is cheating by 10% to 15% of the students happening in every class. So cheating becomes an important aspect. Okay, that's the biggest hurdle. So what we do is that whenever the things we randomly call the person come on a video, then give the answer. So one way of doing. How can the miscommunication online can be reduced? Online miscommunication happens because when you have your gadgets and other accessories are not in position, good condition, then it happens. We have to go in a low speed, low pace of speaking. And in a classroom, I can speak very fast, but in when actually happening online, I have to, the streaming happens. When the video streaming or voice streaming happens very slow. It takes a couple of seconds to reach to the person. If I change a slide, it happens instantly to me, but it is not so when a spectator sees that. So I have to go in a slow way, as I was doing here. Okay. So in that case, miscommunication will be taken rid of. Could you suggest me some useful and viable internet resources to link to enhance the methods of teaching? Certainly, we have certain things. Better thing is that you go to the YouTube videos and type in learner engagement, the keywords, and get to the valuable videos available. You can convert that into MP3 format if you want to share with your friends, or you can get an adaptable situation. You can go to the NPTEL ATAL program FDBs. You can get several topics or several, what we say about several courses available on learning technology and teaching technologies. So please understand, learning technology or studying a technology will not be, it will be a cup of tea for only for the science and computer science oriented people. It's not like that. Please understand. It is for everybody. If a person can learn C language, I too can learn. So that's the reason why that prompted me to learn Python or Java, or database management system. Okay. So I go with the various domain. Reason is that I have friends with those domains. That's one concern. The second thing is that I have a passion of doing. So I got silver elite. Everybody can do it. So most of your English teachers, I could see that. And in that case, please find a way of doing that, learning things. Could you tell me the ways to make the students to involve themselves in the process of learning? That's what I said, reflection spots. Ask questions. Ask them be very interactive. So here, when I use a Mentimeter, I can't find who has typed these words. It's not enough for me, but I need only the constructive feedback. But when you go for student, we have a class of students, ask them to come in names, proper names, and ask them or encourage them to ask questions to you. And an online method, as English teacher, you can even spend time to sometimes go for bilingual. Okay, go to the vernacular of teaching. So there is Varsha Tirupati giving an answer. Teachers should make students to switch on their video during the class so that there may be few chances of being faithful towards it. Yes, that's what I said before that. At times you can randomly, not for checking, by asking them to interact. In my class, I use on the PPT, small text can be given, ask them to read it out. If the student is not ready enough to interact, I make them to read the text on the screen. But it would be only a burden, as we all know that is who wants to learn. Very important. But not for sake of conducting a class, not for sake of attendance, we should not handle. At very first instance, I leave the prerequisites for the students to go for what they should do, what they should not do. And we have a self-made Excel application software is made, and the attendance will be taken automatically. I'll download the material and I'll just copy down the names in that Excel sheet. It shows me who are the students beyond 30 minutes in a 1 hour class, who are the students being very faithful for 30 minutes. They'll be given attendance, others will be given no attendance. Just for logging and going out, we can't give attendance. It's a question from Ashok Tennis. Could you suggest some tips to make students to be active while learning? Very important is that, as I said, the reflection spot, you can ask them. You can go for some gamification of things like what we said about Mentimeter. We have several things available. And you can use a whiteboard. We have whiteboard options everywhere. You can write instead of typing the text. Students want to see your handwriting. Okay. In that case, it will be very helpful for the students to listen. And sometimes you have to call them over phone and speak to the students. Very important. In online class is not over by simply taking a class, but even after the post-class session, you can have some live meetings or on-call meetings. You can make a conference call to 5 students and you can ask a suggestion and ask them how it was, what are the improvement you can make it. You can speak in vernacular, no need to speak in English. So once you speak in vernacular, students will come forward to answer to you because of rural students, as and Dr. Amuda was asking me before, how to tackle with the rural students. There is a question from Karunya Jain. Can you please share your PPT, sir, for our futures? Definitely, I'll share this PPT to the organizer, and it is best made of use. I'm very happy. Okay. So that is one thing given by, and I think I have done my purpose of. Don't take it as a lecture because it's not lecture at all. I study these concepts in a fragment from MPTL courses. I allude all my knowledge and taking part of the not initial thing. The core slides have been not taken immediately because it is designed by me, but the content has been taken from that courses. I have what I did. I organized that and put it as a fine structure of information to you. But initial things about new normal and thing about pandemic, I just thought I had to give some ideas also. So I'm getting answers for that tips for engaged students. Yeah, everything was doing, accepting new normal, positivity, problem resolutions. I just sharing on the screen because when you type, the answers comes up. With this, I thank the organizers of the English department and the administrators, the management, and other people, particularly my friend Dr. L. Lamuda, for inviting me and giving a chance, an opportunity for speaking with our members of faculty from across the nation. And I had a good experience. I could see that the participants and my colleagues are very, very interactive and very vibrant in this afternoon to the evening, and over to the organizers. Thank you for this wonderful session, the opportunity given to me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you for having spent your time with us. And your lecture will help us implement new methodologies for the present teaching scenario. Thank you. Now, I call upon Ms. M. Satya, Assistant Professor of English, to propose vote of thanks.
A pleasant evening to all. It's my great privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. My sincere thanks to Almighty for making today's event a grand success. I express my deep sense of gratitude to our renowned and respected chairman, secretary, and advisor for their constant support. I express my generous thanks to our principal, Dr. J. Radhika, and also express my gratefulness to our vice principal, Dr. M. Pichaimani, for presided over the session. I extend my thanks to Dr. S. Lakshmi, Dean of Arts, for her support and guidance. My heart fills with lots of gratitude and respect for our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. A. Palaniappan, for not only sparing his invaluable time, but also for enlightening us with his commendable talk. Thank you for sharing your ideas on teacher-learner approaches in the pandemic scenario. You have indeed put best of your efforts to make this event unforgettable one. Thank you, sir. My
Thank you.
sincere thanks to the head of the department, Dr. S.S. Saranya, and the faculty members of the Department of English. My hearty thanks and appreciation goes to all the participants. I thank the technical team for their unflinching support and coordination. Thank you all.